Merry Christmas! So, on today's special episode of Irish History, Christmas Truce. So, to begin, word has spread through the British line in the trenches that the Germans were putting up lanterns above the parapets. But what probably caught the Royal Irish rifles in their section of E line of guard was what the Germans shouted at them from their own trench. English soldiers, happy Christmas! Where are your Christmas trees? And then started singing. So the Irish were quick to come back with jokes and singing songs themselves. But what the Germans shouted over again to the Irish in English was nothing but peculiar. If you come out and talk to us, we wouldn't fire. But Lieutenant Colonel George Brendan Lowry, the commanding officer of the Irish Royal Rifles, was cautious because Lieutenant Colonel Lowry got a message from the brigade HQ, and it said, "It is thought possible that the enemy may be contemplating an attack during Christmas or New Year." But one of the Lieutenant Colonel's riflemen ventured out to the German trench and returned with a cigar. Then a German ventured out to the Royal Irish trench to request a 2-day truce, but Captain Arthur O'Sullivan replied with, "Only 1 day." Then the company left the trench to venture in no man's land to converse with the Germans. The Germans gifted the Irishmen a cap, cigars, and helmet badge. This would be a dumbfounded sight to see, at least, as it was for one sapper of the Royal Engineers, J. Davy, wrote from his French. Our men were meeting the Germans in no man's land, chatting, walking about together and exchanging what they could in the form of smokes and food. I saw a number of Irish, English, and German soldiers chasing a rabbit or hare in no man's land, throwing a clod of frozen salt at it. I don't know whether it was caught. If HQ knew, they would be in a world of panic, but of course, Lieutenant Colonel updated the brigade HQ what happened. And HQ replied with this message. No communication of any sort is to be held with the enemy, nor is he to be allowed to approach our trenches under penalty of fire being opened. Fraternizing with the enemy is a serious breach of military discipline. So it's pretty obvious the High Command does not want this type of behavior to continue. But before the Lieutenant Colonel went to sleep, he wrote to his wife, "I have told my people not to fire on Christmas Day if the enemy does not do so. But to trust him? Not at all. So here I am, spending Christmas Eve in the trenches, like my father did exactly 60 years ago in the Crimea. Only I think I am more comfortable than he was at that time. I used to be up at cockcrow with a small child on Christmas Day to see what Santa Claus had brought me. And I shall be up early enough tomorrow in all conscience too, for a different reason. Stand to arms, so that I shall not get my throat cut." The following morning, the Germans shouted Merry Christmas and danced and sang songs in front of their parapets. Lieutenant Colonel Lowry knew his men fired on the Germans. The Lieutenant Colonel wrote to his wife, "You have no idea how pleasant everything seems with no rifle bullets or shells flying about. And he'd hardly tell you that we have kept our men ready in the trenches all the same, as we do not trust our friends further than we can see them." But his missus didn't forget her husband nor his men and organized a huge delivery of pheasant, partridge, chocolate, and plum pudding for them. Throughout the day, no activity was happening at either side. Even HQ, funny enough, eased with a message. If Germans aren't sniping, and then the Royal Irish aren't to snipe either. At 12 midnight, the ceasefire ended, as agreed, with Captain Arthur firing a single shot in the air. The Germans came to the trench, tried to extend the ceasefire, but they were told to go back. So that was the end of the Christmas truce at the Royal Irish Eli. Merry Christmas, as I've said before, and Happy New Year. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, and share. And I see you in the next video, knowing not when it will come out, but it will come out when it come out. So, slán leat.